Okay, let's say we want to do some lighting in Prosser. Okay, so there's the easy way and the less easy but maybe more fun way. Let's talk about the less easy but more fun way first. That is this, the Leprechaun lighting control panel, which sounds like an awful lot of fun. So all we have to do is plug it in, which we'll plug in somewhere. There's power outlets all over the place, like in the front or in the back there. Anyway, we plug that in. We make sure that this cable is plugged in the back, which it normally is, and that the power cord is securely plugged in place. Okay, now the first things we're going to do is put this master control all the way up, and we can keep this manual crossfade down here to the Y side. And pretty much the only thing we have to have up is the master, but we can put the stack up as well and the chasing. It doesn't really matter, but that master is really the key here. Now with this manual crossfade down at the bottom, what it's doing here is now looking at this bottom row of lighting control faders. If we have this manual crossfade up at the top, now it's going to look at the top row of faders for the exact same controls. So you can set one scene of lights up here, maybe a different scene setting of lights down here, and you can fade between them, between the top row and the bottom row of settings. But let's just keep things simple here, and we're just going to leave this manual crossfade down at the bottom. So if you want to control lights, you just use the bottom row of faders that are labeled for whatever lights you want to happen to use, and that's pretty much it. One of the most common uses is, if you look at the back of the stage there, if you can look past my reflection, the stage looks pretty black and dark and whatever. A lot of times what we'll do is, if there's nothing projected, we will add up some of these colors, like the red, green, blue, and amber. So I'm going to ride these up here, about halfway or whatever. And now if you look at the back, look how cool that looks at the back of the stage. Now it looks really cool on video, but it looks a little more subtle in real life. But it just adds a whole lot of depth to the stage. So for presentations, and you can play with the lighting colors and see, maybe you only want, blue and green or whatever, so you want some kind of turquoise looking color, or maybe you want more of a purplish color and you want more reds and less blue or whatever. But in any event, it just really helps give it a nicer looking appearance to some events. So that's really the main thing you're going to be using with this lighting console here, or these colors. Now let's take a look at the easier controls, which you are going to use most of the time. Let's walk over here where we have Britt checking out this lighting control panel. Wow, it's amazing. Mm-hmm. So, Prosser lighting controls. Great. Now we have some presets over here, which we can simply turn on or off. So, for example, the house lights, if we hit that button, we will see the house turn all the way off. And if we press that button again, the house lights will come back on. And it's a short fade period there. And we have different presets for different things. But basically what you're going to be using a lot of are these faders here to bring up some of the rear stage or the podium light, things like that. So we can bring up certain lights at certain points around the stage, like the front lights. This is like the rear stage, and then there's a middle stage. Then we have a Moravian logo, which we can shine if we have the projection screen down or if we have the backstage curtains opened. But mainly most of the time you're really only going to have to put this front stage or podium light stuff only up like maybe about a quarter of the way max, because it tends to get pretty bright up there in real life. So anyhow, so just play with these faders to get just a nice nice looking image up on stage there. And let's say you want to do a slower fade than what's given to you by just pressing the presets. Because if I press the preset here, turn it on or off, it can be kind of an abrupt on or off. And so what you can do here is you can use these faders, for example, with the house lights. You can turn it up all the way, and then you can just simply ride the fader down manually, slowly, and it will give you the kind of fade that you want. So I'm turning it up slowly, 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 like at about this speed, and you can see the effect that that has in the house. So again, you can do some manual fades, or if they want the house lights dimmed slightly from the main level, you can do that instead of this house light preset. Because these presets over here, these will change the levels to be 100%, okay? And then occasionally what you'll have to do is then turn the volume, the level of the fader all the way up before it will go back down. So you may have to kind of play with these faders a little bit before they take control over the preset button. It'll make a lot more sense when you actually use it, so if you do have to use lighting, just come on in here and play with it. But at least now you know what controls to play with for certain things that you might want to do in the house.